And we're back, mga Dockies. Another master list video. And now, finally, we're diving into a subtest that has zero formulas to memorize. But, sad to say, magme-memorize pa rin. And sorry, maybe this time twice as much. Social science. This is where we talk about how humans think, behave, relate, and evolve. In other words, it's the NMAT subtest na relatable. And because it covers not one, not two, but three entire fields, we have here psychology, sociology, and anthropology, it's super easy to feel overwhelmed. Especially if you're not sure where one topic ends and the next begins. That's where this video comes in. Hi, it's Ree, and welcome back to my channel. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you! So, simulan na natin. I'll walk you through it. First up, psychology. So as I've said, it's quite a broad topic. Psychology in its sense has its own bachelor's degree, right? So it takes like 4 years to master the entirety of psychology. But in NMAT, we only have a limited amount of time. Here's the high-yield topics in psychology. Historical background. Of course, with all of these disciplines under social science, you need to know about the significance of its historical background. The viewpoints of Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, to name a few. Next, we have branches of psychology. We have here, for instance, clinical psychology, right? Social psychology, and even industrial psychology. There are lots pa, okay? So, we're gonna tackle that very soon. Schools of thought. We have here your major figures in psychology. The prominent people in the field of psych, which is the proponents of each school of thought. We have here your structuralism. If you can remember, we have there Want and Titchener. For functionalism, we have there William James. For Gestalt, notable people would be Kohler, Kafka, and then Wertheimer. Psychoanalysis. I know you already know this. Very popular in memes, we have here Sigmund Freud, okay? With the psychoanalytic theory, as well as Erik Erikson, kasi palagi niyang magkasamang dalawa, with your psychosocial theory. Behaviorism, we have here Watson, and then I'm sure you're also familiar with Pavlov and Skinner, with your classical conditioning and operant conditioning consecutively. We also have here Albert Bandura, which is an NMAT favorite. He kind of borderlines between behaviorism and cognitivism. So, there's that. Other proponents of cognitivism, we have Piaget and then Kohlberg. Lastly, for humanism, another very popular among the Gen Z because of the addition of your Wi-Fi to the hierarchy of needs. We have here Abraham Maslow, right? With Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's just a joke how there's no Wi-Fi there. But there is indeed an addition. It's supposed to be like 5 with physical security and so on. Now there's 8. It's hati into your deficiency needs and then your growth needs now. Because before, most were deficiency needs. Now there's the growth needs as well. Okay, so that's it for your schools of thought. All the theories and all the relevant people should be studied in this one. Okay? Another thing, we have the brain. It's still part of psychology. We have here the overview of the nervous system, your central versus your peripheral nervous system, as well as your sympathetic versus parasympathetic. We have your anatomy and physiology, or the parts and functions of the brain, as well as your neurotransmitters, their characteristics and what they do. Moving on, we have here memory. Memory processes. If you're familiar, it's the encoding, storage, and retrieval of your memory. We also have types of memory. Let's say your short-term, long-term, as well as your episodic, semantic, procedural. There are others pa. So you're gonna have to go through the memory lane, literally, for this one. Another thing, motivation and emotion. Under this topic, we have the subtopics of the types of your motivation. In undergrad, we learned about extrinsic and intrinsic. That's part of this one as well. We also have your theories of emotion. We have there the James Lange, Cannon-Bard, or your Schuster-Singer. And then the compliance techniques as well. Examples of this would be your foot in the door, as well as your door in the face. There are others. That's also part of this one. More for psychology, we have defense mechanisms. Do you remember? I think the most common one would be your projection. You can see that online in social media sites, right? They talk about projection as well as your sublimation. What else? Denial, right? Your defense mechanisms. There are others that's included in this one. Psychiatry, or your abnormal psychology. You have here your schizophrenia and related disorders, basically the entire schizophrenia spectrum. Mood-related disorders, we have there your depressive disorders, your bipolar disorders, and then your personality disorders as well. The most famous one that usually comes out in the NMAT would be your OCD and its difference with your OCPD. Okay? Learn to differentiate between the two. And maiba tayo dun naman sa sociology. Again, with a historical background, okay? Try to learn who's the founder of your sociology. And then, of course, your perspectives. There are three. Kind of like your entire sociology revolves around these three lenses. Functionalist, which is another term for your structural functional perspective. The proponent for this one is Emil Durkheim. Your social consensus, as well as your solidarity, which has two types, your mechanical and your organic solidarity, including your types of suicide. Okay, the types of suicide in this one would pertain to your egoistic and altruistic suicide. Additionally, your anomic and fatalistic suicide. Conflict perspective, also known as your social conflict by Karl Marx. I'm sure you're familiar with that one. And lastly, your symbolic interactionalist. This is by George Herbert Mead. And then a subtopic for this one would be your looking glass self, which is by Charles Horton Cooley. Another one is your society. We have here the types. If you can recall, your hunting, gathering, your pastoral society, and others. And a staple for Soksai in NMAT would be the difference between your Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft in society. So learn to distinguish between the two. You also have your aspects of society, which includes your structure involving social groups, your, let's say, primary, secondary social group. Okay. Another one would be your social organization. This basically just entails your social stratification, your social status, right? If it's an ascribed status or achieved status. And then also your social mobility, how you go up and down through the strata. Processes. You have here your socialization, basically the modes of socialization, positive and negative social control, as well as your theories on social deviance and Robert Merton's typology of deviance. If you've heard these first from me, then start reading about it, okay? Culture. In culture, we have here your cultural transmission. If you could remember your enculturation, your assimilation, and your acculturation. Okay, there are others as well. Cultural phenomena, basically your ethnocentrism and xenocentrism, your cultural relativism, cultural lag, those type of terminologies. And then, of course, lastly, your types of norms, also very high yield. You have there your folk ways. What else? Your taboos, your laws, your mores. And dagdag pa sa sociology, your social institutions. If you remember, you have your religion, your family, your economy, your politics, and your education. For family, we have your types of family. Nuclear, right? Extended or single parent. We also have your matrilocal, patrilocal families. based on where they reside after marriage. And then your patrilineal or matrilineal families, whichever has the authority in the family, whether it's the mom or the dad. And then here, I included your triangular theory of love. This one I've already covered in a previous video. So it's very concise and easy to grasp. So please do check that video out in this link above, okay? And then we also have your economy, your types of economy, right? Your capitalistic, communistic, okay? Economies and others, etc. Your government and politics, you have your types of government. We have in the Philippines democracy. We also have autocratic governments, autocracy, aristocracy, etc. Okay, and then your types of power. I believe if you're from TradMed courses, you most likely heard of your charismatic power, your legitimate power, expert power, etc. That's it for sociology. Lastly, we have ourselves the topic of anthropology. We also have to know the historical background, the relevant persons involved. In this one, we have your biological anthropology, involving your theory of natural selection by Charles Darwin, your basic evolutionary theories as well, and then your stages of human evolution, including your relevant genus Homo, all their characteristics and their discoveries, like your Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, etc. Another thing is your cultural anthropology. If I'm not mistaken, this also includes your archaeology, socio-cultural anthropology, as well as your linguistic anthropology. It's included in this branch. We have here your cultural evolution, basically your socio-political organization from bands to tribes to chiefdom and state. Okay? Familiarize with that one because that's very popular in the NMAT. We also have our prehistoric timeline. Again, their characteristics and discoveries that were relevant in each age or period. We have here our Stone Age, which includes your Paleolithic, Mesolithic, and Neolithic. We also have our Bronze Age and your Iron Age. In anthropology and math, the questions with regards to the difference between ethnography and ethnology are also included. So get a head start on reading about these ones. And then lastly, your components of language. If you can remember, we have there your phonetics, pragmatics, semantics, your syntax. So that's all that there is to your components of language. And there you go, Dockies, your topic rundown for social science. I know this subtest seems content heavy, but with the right master list and a dose of free, it becomes way less overwhelming. My advice, quantity over quality. Yes, you didn't hear wrong. It's quantity over quality. As you've seen in the topics that I've presented for SocSci, it spans a wide range across 3 disciplines, all of which you have a bachelor's degree for them. You have like 4 years to cover the entire thing. It's very wide. And there are actually some topics I left out because there are just too many and I became confused as to where to insert them. Might just do an addendum in the comment section later on. But the ones in this video are the high yield ones. Yung mga labasin sa NMAT. So yes, study superficially, then move on. No need to go too deep. Questions are all basic. It's just that you might have not heard of them yet. So that's why it's better to read a lot of topics. The questions all have choices and you can recall basically. So it's easier. Okay? If you found this video helpful, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends. As always, I am rooting for you. G Drive is still accessible. Tutorials are still coming. And I'm just one comment away. This has been Review with Ray, reminding you that the hours you've put in will never amount to nothing. Bye!